Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us for our Fantasy Premier League Game Week 9 preview show. I'm Chris, and with me is the other half of the FPL Cougars team, Kieran. Hey.
Good evening, everyone.
Don't know about you guys, but we are a bit bored by the international break. It's dragging, and it's Monday. It wasn't helped by that ball score draw, England against Croatia on Friday night, but let's refocus and turn our attention to Game Week 9, which is going to be soon upon us. Tonight we're going to start by having a look at our teams for Game Week 9. We're going to talk about the captaincy options in quite a lot of detail. We're going to talk about what Salah's injury could mean, and probably will impact quite a lot of FPL squads. We're going to round up other international news, discuss our transfer plans, pick out some differentials, and clean sheets. So, Kieran, we've got a lot to talk about. So let's talk about your fantasy football less weekend. And how's your team shaping up for this Saturday?
Yeah, I've been thoroughly bored, I don't know if this one seems to have dragged even longer than before. I don't know why. But yeah, watched some NFL, played some new Call of Duty, which was quite fun. But yeah, I haven't really thought about FPL too much, to be honest, which is a nice difference because I've not decided not to wildcard. So yeah, not been thinking about it too much. If I wasn't a wild card, I would have been tinkering all the time. But yeah, other than that, I've just kind of let it go. To be honest, I made one transfer on like the first day of the break, which was PVA to Doherty.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was rising, so that's already in the bag. I've still got one free in case I want to do something with Salah or Fraser or whatever. But yeah, still undecided at the moment. But yeah, what about you?
Well, yeah, like you say, it feels like I think the England game made the weekend feel slower in terms of football because it was just so dull. And like you, I've been switched off from fantasy probably since last weekend. Like you, I did 2 transfers earlier, which is very unlike me. Mainly, so I transferred Shaw out for Doherty because it just seemed like a logical move. Really, Doherty's been playing really well. His price is just continuing to go up. We'll still have some good fixtures. Yeah. And there's still a lot of question marks surrounding United and Shaw's involvement, although I hear he's signing a new contract sometime this week, so that's good for him. But it's typical. I mean, I brought him in on my wild card as a slight differential because I think he's still got just under 10% ownership, and I benched him for the only game he got returns in the 3 games I've had him. So yeah, typical. So yeah, he's gone. Doherty's come in. My other transfer was to get rid of Lucas Moura, another wild carder, who, in hindsight, it still seemed like a good move because Spurs had some good fixtures, Brighton away, and then they had Huddersfield away and Cardiff at home, and he played 90 minutes in all of the games, and to get 2-2 and a 3 is it's pretty disappointing. But yeah, he's gone, and I'm hoping for more consistent point returns from Maddison. But at the moment he's on my bench, Kieran.
Yeah, why is that?
So why is that? Because I fancy Bennett and Wolves to get a clean sheet. I think it's more likely that Wolves get a clean sheet at home to Watford than he's involved in a goal away against Arsenal. That's it. That's my thing. No? How do you feel about that?
I fancy there to be plenty of goals in that Leicester-Arsenal game. They're always entertaining when they play each other. Mm-hmm. Just Arsenal have got better defensively, but not good enough to keep Leicester out, I don't think. Yeah, we'll see, I guess.
It does.
It's not a bad call to bench him, to be honest.
It does feel bad that he's like my new signing and he's going straight on the bench, but
yeah,
what can you do? So we're going to start by talking tonight more in detail about the captaincy for this week because it's fairly big issue. There's quite a lot of options, let's say. I mean, there's a couple of standout ones, and yeah. So you've got it currently on Aguero.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I don't think it's going to change. I was looking at Salah. Obviously, Huddersfield away is a great fixture, but he's obviously had his slight injury, minor injury, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. And Aguero seems the no-brainer. Even if he's going to get 60 minutes or 65, he can still score plenty in that time. I mean, he's had full rest. He's not played for Argentina at all. So he could play 90, but 65 is probably more likely with the Champions League coming up on Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm not sure exactly when they're playing, but yeah, he's hard to look past. You know how explosive he is. So, I mean, Hazard is obviously a good option, but it's a little bit risky. to captain him this weekend against United. Obviously, it's not a good fixture for United, but could get marked out of the game. So at the moment, I'm looking towards Aguero.
So if I told you before Friday, if I said to you, Pep's told me, Kieran, that Aguero's only going to play 60 minutes, would you still be as confident captaining him? How is Aguero's managed minutes affecting your decision and affecting your ownership of Aguero? Because it's a question that a lot of people are asking.
It's not affecting me currently. Okay. He's getting the return still at 60 minutes. Not ideal that he's not playing 90, but he's still getting a goal, an assist, or 2 assists. So at the time that he stops doing that, then I'll be thinking of getting rid. Yeah. I think he's too good to have at the moment when he's injury free. Yeah, he's only playing 60 minutes, but you know what he can do. Like, I had him when he had this hat trick earlier, but I didn't captain him. I just want to keep it on him until he doesn't do anything, I suppose, or he has a horrible fixture. I just don't think there's any reason to get rid of him at the moment.
No, I think it's all sound reasoning, really. I think Aguero, like you say, even if he does play 60 minutes, he's likely to still return in that time. So he's returned in every home game so far this season, which is a huge plus for him. And he's averaging over 6 shots per game at home this season, which is a crazy amount. So with Burnley conceding, again, another stat drawn up about Burnley's bad defence, they're conceding on average 23 shots away from home this season, which is a lot.
Which is huge.
It's huge, yeah. So, I mean, statistically speaking and looking at the stats, he seems like the no-brainer choice. But it's just the minutes that are putting putting people off. Because
I can see why. It makes sense. People looking towards Sterling as well, which, I like that. But I would kind of, if I'm going to get Sterling, I would like Aguero as well. I don't think I'd want just one of them. Their fixtures are still okay. I mean, they could beat anyone, can't they? So there's no reason to say their fixtures are bad or something like that. There's no reason not to own both of them, because Sterling is being consistent as well, isn't he? So
agree, yeah.
Obviously he's not consistent for England, but yeah, I like Aguero at the moment, and that I think doubling up on them is something I'll look at on the wild card when I eventually get there.
Well, I think that they're still either the first or second best team in the league, aren't they? And they went away to Liverpool, who everyone were backing to show off their attacking prowess against them, and they kept a clean sheet there and made Liverpool. I mean, we talked about it last week, didn't we? It was quite an ordinary game, but they made each other look ordinary, and were lucky not to win with the Sky penalty. Had Aguero been on, who knows? Goal and max bonus, and we wouldn't even be having such a discussion about him. But I think he's going to stay on my pick, and my second place pick, i.e. the vice captaincy, was a really difficult one. So I've got Salah. Let's say we didn't even have his injury, I wouldn't even be that confident about vice captaining him, which makes me think, how much longer do I want to own him for? So he's now had 1 goal involvement in his last 5 game weeks. So that was against Brighton at home when they won 1-0. Huddersfield haven't scored at home all season. They've conceded 5 in 4 games. So they're only averaging just over 1 goal per game. So even if he's still racking up the shots per game, and he's still getting the penalty area touches, but his shots have been so wayward and off target, I'm not even sure I'd be confident captaining him away against Huddersfield, which says a lot for, form over fixture, really, in that argument.
I kind of fancy him to play on, is it Sunday or not actually sure, to play against Huddersfield. I don't see a reason why he really won't. His injury says it's minor, whatever. But there's been news that they've said they don't think there's any reason why he won't play at Huddersfield. Same with Van Dijk as well. So I kind of fancy Liverpool to show the teams up and get in back to winning ways and go like 4-0, 5-0, something like that.
Okay.
I fancy them big time, just to show that they're not crap at the moment, because they haven't been great for a while, have they? I mean, their last at least 4 games they've been pretty average.
Yeah, they have.
So I fancy them to get back on it now, and Mane hopefully stays quiet, and Firmino too. But Salah can get a hat trick, and I'd be happy.
Well, they have had some difficult games in that time, haven't they? They've had Chelsea twice,
Yeah.
Napoli, and City. So going from that to Huddersfield, you expect a bit of a reaction or change in performance, change in result. So it's just a question of can Salah or Mane turn it on really? But yeah, even if he is declared fit, I think I'm still more likely to have Aguero captain and Wilson or Hazard vice captain than Salah.
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably put Vice on Hazard or something like that. I haven't really looked at Vice yet.
Okay.
Still something to decide.
So I'll talk up Hazard a little bit because I think he and Wilson were they're at the moment my as I say consideration for vice picks. So looking at obviously Hazard has only not returned in one game so far this season. That was away against West Ham. And United are now joint fourth with Saints for the most goals conceded in the league so far this season, which is crazy. I think it's taken them, or the amount of goals they conceded so far this season, it took them until December last season to concede that many. So it's all well and good that Luke Shaw's signing this new contract, but I think they need more than that in defence at the moment when it's only Huddersfield, Cardiff and Fulham who have got worse goals conceded than they have. But yeah, Hazard's averaging 2.5 shots per game at home, so I'd expect him to have some involvement against United there. Sarri's got place at Chelsea playing well, and I don't know, Mourinho never seems to. I'd just say he hasn't won, I don't think, since he's gone back to Stamford Bridge, and he's had some difficult games. I think Hazard tormented Herrera one game in an FA Cup and got him sent off when he tried to man-mark him.
Yeah.
So it doesn't always work, and the way Hazard's been playing this season, the way Sarri's got him playing, I could see him getting some returns there.
Yeah, I mean, in my notes, I've got them down as a 2-0 win to Chelsea.
Chelsea, okay.
But I'm not saying that Hazard is going to get the goals in that. He probably will be involved, but probably not enough for him to be warranted captaincy when you've got Burnley at home for City and Aguero. He probably will be involved, and I do fancy him to do stuff, or do bits, I suppose.
Yeah.
But he's just slightly risky. He could get marked out of the game, or he could explode.
Yeah.
There's no way of really knowing, but the form of his life, he'd probably hedge towards explode against a not so good United at the moment. But yeah, for me, too risky to have captain him this weekend. But I'll put Vice on him, I think.
See, I think he's still the most likely of all Chelsea's 11 to be the one who is involved with a goal or an assist. Sure. I know they won 3-0 against Southampton and Barkley scored. Tapping, didn't he? And he set Morata through in the final minutes. But I think without him in their team, they would struggle to score as many goals as they do score. So I think he's essential to their style of play. So if he plays, I'm expecting him to do well this weekend. But he's a strong consideration for vice captain. But then Wilson, okay, Kieran, we've got to talk about Wilson, okay, because he's coming off I've stuck with him since the wild card, and I'm pleased he's delivered for me. So he's coming off his biggest point scorer of the season, and he's got Southampton at home next, so it's a bit of a derby there. And they've conceded 15 shots away from home so far this season on average, and Callum's biggest home return is 8. So if he can match that or do better than that against Southampton, that was a goal and a couple of bonus points on that occasion, then I could easily see him scoring against Southampton.
Yeah,
I think it's a good fix. I think playing the fixtures as well as the form, he and Aguero for me are the ones with the fixtures and the form. I mean, he's now up to second in the striker standings overall so far this season. He usually plays 90 minutes. I think the only game he didn't was their loss against Burnley, where he came off after 60. So it's not anything to get excited about on a captaincy, but you're getting those guaranteed 2 points for over 60 minutes completed. You know he's going to be involved in the play, and he's capable of getting assists as well as goals, as we've seen. So I think Wilson is he's definitely a good backup to Aguero. So if Aguero doesn't play, I'm happy.
Why don't you man up and put the C on him?
Oh, I've been thinking about it. He would be a great differential in another week where Aguero wasn't at home against Burnley. He would probably be on it for me, and the fixtures were still falling the same way. Because it's a sort of captain that get you up the rankings.
Yeah, I think got in my notes again like a 3-0 to Bournemouth here. I don't know. What do you think about Fraser? Do you think he'll play? He's had the 2 weeks fully off.
Yeah.
He said he was determined to play and he wanted to go. So he's obviously can play, but he was just made to stay at home, I guess, and recuperate. So I assume he'll play, but I think Stanislas may come on for him again for 65 minutes or something. Or Stanislas starts and Fraser starts as well, maybe. I'm not sure. But I don't know. What do you think about Fraser's minutes?
It's a strange one. In both international breaks so far this season, he's been sent home, hasn't he?
Well, he played one game in the first one.
Oh, okay.
Then got sent home. But he's missed both of them in this time. So.
Well, it is a strange one. It is a strange one because he came back, didn't he, after the last one when apparently he was injured, and then he had his biggest point haul of the season. Yeah. So he could do the same, and he's still got the fixture. You've got decent backup on the bench. I think in Wan-Bissaka it's an all right. It's not a bad player to have. Knowing what he's like off the bench so far this season, so I think until you know what's going to happen on Saturday, I wouldn't be too hasty in getting rid of him or even taking him out of the starting 11. If he plays,
I would like more cover there. You know, like is Fraser enough to cover that game? So I think they'll do really well in that game. You know,
I see.
You've got Wilson, so King, Stanislas. I think they could all return.
Yeah, and King's recently gone up in price as well, haven't they? So people are investing in Bournemouth players. It's a kind of a good time to invest in Bournemouth players because they have some good fixtures. They have the Southampton and Fulham game, so we know Southampton are leaky, we know Fulham are leaky. But after that, they have a home game against Newcastle, and in another couple of game weeks, a home game against Arsenal. In between that, they go away to Newcastle. So the fixtures are still fairly decent, and I think it's not too late, and you still got time to jump on a Bournemouth attacker. And I think in this is the sort of game they're going to be fired up to play and continue their great start to the season.
Yeah, I mean, they're 6th in the league now, maybe higher. So yeah, they're probably feeling really confident. Yeah. No reason like this game can't be a blowout for them. No. Even against Fulham could be a blowout. They could probably beat United. Yeah, invest. Why not? I like it. Yeah, they look good.
So are there any other captaincy options that you think are worthy of mention this week, even if it's someone you don't own in your team?
I guess Sterling is an option. Obviously, Lacazette is an option.
Ah, yes, I'm pleased you said Lacazette, okay? Yeah. Because I want to chit-chat about Lacazette. Okay, so now...
Even Aubameyang as well is an option if you want to go that way.
Maybe. If you've still got him. Okay, let me tell you some stuff about Lacazette. You're going to go, oh, Chris, no way. Okay. Right, so although you know he's in great form, don't you? And we said last weekend he'd be a great captaincy option against Fulham. Ta-da, he was, well done. But he's now scored or assisted in his last 6 games, right? But his biggest home score of the season so far has only been 5 points. 5 points! I couldn't believe it when I went back through and read that because I'd been thinking, okay, if I'd taken Aguero out this last weekend for Lacazette as he had a bad record at Anfield and his minutes were limited, would he still be a good captaincy option? That was a part of the reason that put me off. If I feel like at the moment, although they're playing well, Lacazette hasn't shown that huge captaincy explosiveness that you need at home. So yeah, it put me off a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why it's not coming against Leicester, who could definitely conceding. Yeah. He could definitely do well this weekend. I almost feel like Aubameyang coming on last week and scoring really well. I feel like he's gaining confidence. He's down to 9.1% owned. He's a differential in himself. Yeah. And I feel like there's a case for owning both of them at the moment. Yeah, it's risky, but I don't think you can cover their points.
So you may as well. So you either cover their points by getting them both.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting option, honestly.
It's like 20 million.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know about that. But you like Aubameyang a lot because you've got good history with him in the Champions League fantasy game, whereas I don't have that love affection for him. As far as I'm concerned, he had a great end of the season last season. Now he's a winger.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
But you're right. When Arsenal tick like they did against, I think Fulham might. Yeah, I don't know. convince people that they're going to batter teams every week and they're both going to do great, score some nice goals, score 2 every game, high five each other saying, "Oh, great, you assisted me. Oh, great, I assisted you. Oh, good, we're great mates."
To be fair, it was against Fulham, wasn't it?
It was against Fulham, yeah. Until they actually batter a team when they're both starting, great, or that one of them shows me they're really selfish and I should get them in my team.
Yeah, I think they'll both play this week, though.
Yeah.
I think Ramsey will play as well, because you could see how much better they were when they both came on.
Yeah,
but yeah, maybe Ramsey's the option plus Lacazette.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it because it'll answer a lot of questions about Arsenal. They've been doing really well, and it'll be the second televised game. So I watched the Fulham game, but it wasn't really like any big conclusions I could draw from that one. So yeah, the game against Leicester, I'll know more.
They'll want that 10 win on the bounce, won't they?
Oh, they will. Is it 9 games in all comps and 6 in the league? I think it is.
Yeah.
Good. Well done. That's good. So last captaincy differential. Do you want to talk about Matt Doherty?
Really?
Can I even just say, yeah?
I've not considered him, but you go ahead.
Yeah, just another field pick, because I'm looking at my team and I think, who else could I potentially captain this week if I want a differential? So he's now got 3 goal involvements in the last 4 games. That's 2 assists and 1 goal. And they look like they're going to get a clean sheet every time they play at home, or even away at the moment against Palace. But so yeah, I'm predicting like at least a 9-pointer from Doherty this weekend. That's a clean sheet and an assist, and maybe no bonus. That's just straight 9 points.
Yeah, he'll get bonus if he's doing that.
If he does, he'll get bonus. So maybe I should say
12, and then you got 24 for captain.
Woo! So, anyways,
nice.
I'm predicting he gets a clean sheet and some attacking returns this weekend, and that's why I think he'd be a good option for someone with more cojones than I've got against Troy Deeney.
Yeah, in my notes I've got a 3-0 to Wolves.
3-0. Well, there you go.
Yeah, this is finally the time where they're actually going to batter a team.
Maybe.
Yeah, Watford don't look great, and obviously Holebas will be back, which is good for them, but he's not a great defender. And I just can't see Deeney and Gray doing much against the Wolves' defence. I think Bolly and Cody, I don't know how you pronounce his name, probably just bully them out. And
Ryan Bennett, I would have thought.
And Bennett, yeah. Obviously hard to bully out Deeney, but I think they'll keep him quiet. And Doherty could definitely get an assist, could easily get a goal. And I fancy Jimenez to finally get a brace.
That'd be good, wouldn't it?
I still do really want him, and I've got that 1 free transfer, possibly for a hit to get Kamara out, to get him in. But I don't know who I'd bench then. Annoyingly, maybe Fraser, but I don't really want. Maybe Madison, honestly.
Comes down to the hardest fixture then, I think.
Yeah, I mean, looking at your lineup, I really like that 4-3-3. I think that's something I was going to head towards on my wildcard. Just the three top 3 mid as just good value picks, and then like a nice premium defense again. I think that's the way I've done well so far. So I think that's something I'll head towards.
There you might go. Okay. All right. Well, that about wraps up the captaincy discussion. Should we just talk briefly then about what Salah's injury could mean for FPL? So, I mean, you said to me, I was getting excited, thinking, "Oh, it's gonna change the game if he's injured," and you said, "Nah, he'll play." And I was like,
I think, yeah.
You'll think he'll play?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's just play devil's advocate for a minute then. Just say, so we've got something to talk about. If I say he plays, we're moving on really quickly. Let's just say that he misses 1 game. Would you keep him? Or are you that excited about a Huddersfield game that you'd swap him to Mane and swap back because his price is static and you've got a free transfer?
If I knew he was going to miss 1 game, I would probably transfer him to Sterling, not Mane.
Oh, all right. And then aim to get him back in?
I don't see why not. Probably on the wild card if I manage to play it or not play it, because he's losing value. He's not like I have to buy him back for more expensive or anything. So yeah, it'll probably be to Sterling just because Burnley at home. But then again, KDB might be back and Sterling might lose some minutes because he's played pretty much all of them. So that's a consideration as well. But no, I don't think I'd. If it was 1 game, I'd probably just keep him, honestly.
Okay.
And just let Wan-Bissaka come on. But if it was more, then yeah, I'd get rid.
Because he's down to 32% ownership now, which is it's 20% shed since the start of the season because he was on over. I think he was on 52 maybe. So yeah, 20% of managers have had enough of him. So you see the main candidates to replace him as being Sterling and De Bruyne rather than Mane?
Yeah, personally.
Okay.
But I did say that Liverpool could go ahead and smash Huddersfield, but I think that would be with Salah in the team.
Yeah.
If it's Shaqiri, not sure. Maybe Shaqiri is an option. Don't know. But I think Salah makes the team better, obviously. Yeah, it's tough for managers, honestly. If you've already got Ridge, you're probably sitting happy, and you've got Kane in your team, and you're probably captaining him. And against a West Ham team that have terrible with defence, well, not so terrible lately, but you're probably sitting happy there. Because obviously against Cardiff, you got 1 point, you're thinking, oh crap, why did I get rid of Salah? But now he's gone and got injured and maybe won't play. You're probably thinking, great, it's turned out well. Maybe we're not adapting to what's happening as well. Salah obviously isn't having a great season. Maybe we need to adapt to getting rid of him. Just maybe he's a nostalgia pick. I think I linked you to a video the other day about an NFL pick, just talking about nostalgia picks and how they're dangerous. And you consider that with Salah for this year. You think about how last year he was so good, but when he's not doing it this year, he's turned into a nostalgia pick, and you just hope he's going to do well. Yeah. Obviously, his stats are still good, but he's not returning the FPL points, is he? So, at what point do we just be like, we've got to cut ties? Maybe now is it because he's had this slight injury.
Yeah, I think you make a good point about the nostalgia pick because he has been. I was going to say stop-start, but I don't even know if he's been that really. He's just not. He's not been up to the level you expect based on 1, last year's points and 2, this year's price, really. So I think the same can be. I mean, we didn't talk about him a minute ago, but the same could be said for Kane to some degree. So his performance hasn't been there while the goals have been. I think, he's almost become a nostalgia pick as well because of his price. You think you're guaranteed point returns. But sorry, going back to Salah, I think if he misses more than 1 game, I'd definitely get rid of it. If he's gonna just miss the Huddersfield game, I'd probably just bench him. And like you, if he plays the Huddersfield game, and I think they've got another fairly favourable fixture after that game. They play Cardiff at home, yeah. So if he's not returning either of those 2 games, they've got Arsenal away and then Fulham, then I'd start to really, question why he's in my team and definitely look to move him on.
Yes.
Because it's just been, that'll be by what then? About game week 11 or 12? To have him in your team for what would nearly be a third of the season, taking up quite a lot of value which you could reinvest elsewhere.
I mean, there's no doubt he's going to get goals.
Oh, yeah.
But he's not going to get back to what he was last season, possibly. I'm not saying he won't, but...
Well, he needs to get goals to match his value as well, doesn't he?
Yeah. I mean, at 32% owned, if people are going to continue to get rid of him on this injury, he's going to become a differential at probably like something like 29%, something like that, for such a big player who can explode. Say you captain him 1 week riskily, you could, and he does get a brace, come back to form. You're shooting up, aren't you? Yeah. So yeah, that's something to think about as well. He could become a differential soon.
So a lot of people actually removed him last week or the week before as a make weight for Kane, and we had a question from FPL DB. So is Salah worth bringing in now if you don't own him? So do you reckon there'll be many people... So we didn't talk about Kane as a captaincy option. This sort of comes back round to that earlier. But I think he should be considered a captaincy option up against West Ham. Yeah. Despite his blank against Cardiff, I think he's fairly back in form, isn't he? It's funny because I think he's in form to a degree where it doesn't justify his price. Do you know what I mean by that? Like, it doesn't feel like I'm captaining a 12.5 million player, because he's not giving me that reassurance he's going to get, I don't know, 2 goals a game at the moment.
it's not just Kane. A question of him being in form. It's his supporting cast as well.
Yeah, it's true.
Is hindered, to say the least.
Yeah, because Eriksen's got that stomach problem, isn't he? So he might be out for quite a while.
Yeah, and obviously Wanyama's got injured now. Obviously he wasn't doing much anyway, but Dembele's out as well. Who's the other one? Ali's out.
Ali's out, yeah.
Vertonghen. Yeah, Vertonghen, yeah. So lots of Spurs down and out, fortunately. So Son and Moura and stuff, they can do stuff, but they do hinder Kane's chances, it seems like. He gets deeper and they go forward because their pace is so much better, and Kane seems to never get a rest of England either. But I still think he's a great captain choice this week. But yeah, not quite in form.
Okay. So if we go back to, I got a bit sidetracked talking about Kane. I get a bit just emotional about bringing up a lot of memories
Nostalgic.
there. Yeah, nostalgia, exactly. So FPL DB, he did say, so is Salah worth bringing back in now? But I don't think he is really. If you got rid of him for Kane recently, and now that he's injured, or even if you didn't get rid of him for Kane, even if you got rid of him for another player, I think you've still, if he's not performing against Huddersfield and Cardiff, then I think you're in the clear and you've made the correct decision. So stay true to your decision of getting rid of Salah and see how it goes for you, because you may have made the right decision there.
Yeah, I mean, whoever you got in for Salah, probably you would have got a high premium price player, and you're expecting them to do well. So keep with your decision.
Yeah.
To be honest, Salah could be injured, could miss the game, so definitely don't bring him in on that. So yeah, just leave him out, I'd say, for now, if you've not got him.
Is there any more you want to add on the Salah discussion, or do you think draw a line under it, move on?
Let's draw the line.
Draw the line. Okay, line drawn. So just to pick up, obviously we're recording this on Monday, so we haven't seen what happens in England, Spain later tonight. So we hope none of the English players who were in our fantasy teams get injured. But just to wrap up a few other bits of international news you may have missed over the weekend, I'll just run through these little bits quickly. So Duffy and Doherty both played the full 90 for Ireland against Denmark. Van Dijk and Wijnaldum got goals for Netherlands against Germany. Did you see that? The highlights of that game?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Germany got taken apart there. Mane got picked up an assist. Arnie got a goal in their game against Nigeria, or for Austria. Lukaku's scoring for his country. Hazard played 90 minutes. Kevin De Bruyne didn't come back, which I guess he's going to come back a bit later this month, isn't he?
I wouldn't be surprised if he starts against Burnley.
Yeah.
He's been in training for a good 3 weeks now, so
I think he's a little bit ahead of schedule, isn't he? Because they did initially say he was going to come back in time for that Manchester United game. So Jesus scored a goal for Brazil. Salah scored obviously before he got his injury, where he went down holding his groin, wasn't it? He came back on and were left again, which that's why it makes me think he won't play, because you think you're okay to come back on, and then you play for a bit and you think, oh god, no, I'm not all right. But let's see what comes of that. So let's just mention Mitrovic, because he got a brace and he also got a price drop. Bizarre. They've got some
especially
great
with
fixtures.
The fixture. Yeah.
I know. What's the matter with people, guys? If you're taking Mitrovic out, why?
Stop.
Just tell me why. Just put it in the comments and say, Chris, I took him out because they've got Cardiff, Bournemouth, and Huddersfield in the next 3. And then they've got Southampton as a home fixture in the next 5. It's crazy. You're crazy, guys. Okay, Gylfi, an assist for Iceland against France.
Yeah, they won that game like 2-0, didn't they, Iceland?
Yeah, they did, yeah.
It's just against the world champions.
I'm not sure. I don't know the final score, but I know he got an assist. It may have been.
Okay. Yeah. But they were definitely 2-0 up about 80-odd minutes, I think. So I didn't check the final score. But
So I thought after we just done that roundup, then we talk about our maybe pick out some differentials for game weeks 8 to 10, because it was requested by FPL Chancer on Twitter. He said talk about some differentials, and then after that, I think we'll just talk about our plans. You talked a little bit about team structure earlier, so perhaps we just pick up on that and see where our teams are going over the next couple of game weeks.
So differentials, firstly, I think I was looking at Vardy as one. He's still 4.9% owned, and their fixtures are still good. If you haven't got him, look to get him. If you haven't got Madison, then definitely look to get him. Yeah, they're pretty good attacking wise, and he's pretty consistent, and he's a captain option in some weeks. So yeah, he's good. Sigurdsson as well, still only 4.3%, and he is in form. We talked about him last week. Can't see why he won't get a goal against Palace this week. Yeah, he'll continue form and he'll start to pick up his ownership. So get on him before anyone else does, really. And then yeah, Aubameyang as well, as I said earlier, he's 9.1%. Those are my three. And then obviously any Brighton defenders who've got good fixtures, and then maybe a Newcastle defender, Lascelles or Yedlin, because their fixtures are pretty good now as well. But they're Newcastle and they could probably lose to anyone.
Yeah.
So
we've got a few teams now, haven't we, Kieran, where they're sort of changing their fixture runs. Like you say, Newcastle have now got like a sea of a blue on the fixture rating chart. I think it's Watford have still got 4 tasty looking fixtures.
Yeah.
And I think there's some Leicester, like you say, after this Arsenal game, they've got a sea of blue. So it's just a question of picking out the right ones. So additionally to that as well, Brighton, I marked Glenn Murray, so he's still only owned by 2.7%, and he's scoring well this season. And I think after Mitrovic's, we talked about Mitrovic's next good fixtures over the next 3, and I think after that, if you're looking to move on, as a lot of people are, it seems we're taking him out and his price dropping. I think Murray is a great option. He's going to play against all the teams around Brighton in the table. It looks like he's on penalties, and it just seems to be getting better. One of those players that the older they get, they just get better and better. More game experience. He knows where to position himself. He doesn't have a lot of shots per game. I think he's only averaging just over 1 shot per game, but he's taking his chances when he gets them, and I think he's going to be a good pick. Similarly, Knockaert is even more of a differential, so he's only owned by 1.8%. He's a good pick because of Brighton's run again. Their fixtures are looking really good. He's shown good involvement, good goal involvement so far this season. I think he's got 3 goals and 1 assist now this season. I think
like
he's
that, yeah. I think it might be the other way around.
Might be around, yeah. But he's looking sharp, and I think he'd be a good recommendation. Pereira for Leicester as well. Defender who's playing out of position on the right wing after the Arsenal game. I'm not sure if he'll play against Arsenal because remember he got benched. Although it was a home game against Huddersfield, I would imagine they want a bit more. Well, maybe he'll play defensive solidarity. I don't know.
If he's out of position, why would he need to be benched?
True. Yeah, that's true. And another defensive player on field away from home. So yeah, Pereira, he's got that goal threat. I think he's got 2 so far this season. He's got some assists as well. So I think he's going to remain a good pick. And a lot of people have been asking us about Newcastle picks because they've obviously got a great run of fixtures now, but it's difficult to recommend any of them when none of them really shown great form. And you mentioned Lacazette, didn't you, because of what he'd done last season? And I'd recommend Kennedy based on what he'd done last season and his goal he scored at Old Trafford last game week. Yeah. But it's a shame really because there's none really there that get me excited to think, okay, well, I'm going to need to get a Newcastle player in. I think they're quite a bit. Generally, they're overpriced as well. I think some of their defenders are 5, aren't they? I think
Lascelles is.
Yeah, Lascelles 5, and I think Perez is 6-1. I think something like that. And I think Kennedy's dropped in price. I think he's 4.8 now, so I think he's the best of the bunch there. So
you'd hope he could push on after that goal. Yeah. Their fixtures, he may do. So if you want a slightly cheaper midfield, then he's a good option.
I think he could help some managers play 5 in midfield. So he's one to consider there. And the final one, if Salah is injured, I think Shaqiri's a good pick. So he's only 7 million, and he's actually scored 12 points in the last 5 game weeks, but that's only from 3 appearances, which equated to 90 minutes. So 12 points in 90 minutes is a great return. So I think if he's considered, or if he plays against Huddersfield and he plays against Cardiff, Shaqiri 1% ownership, 7 million, could be a mega differential there.
I hope he's not, because I hope Salah plays.
Do you want to? Is there anything you want to talk about your team structure then? So you said 4-3-3, and you're contemplating Mitrovic, and you've mentioned Jimenez.
Yeah.
What's your your thinking for these next sort of 4 game weeks until we get to the next international break at game week 12?
So I'm worried about Trippier. Aurier is back from his injury now. He played in international the other day. So yeah, Trippier slight rotation risk now, and their fixtures are pretty bad. And I can't really see them getting a clean sheet against West Ham, but I'm probably going to keep him for this one just in case.
Yep.
And then after that, I'm thinking, I mean, the obvious choice would be Mendy and a double up with Ederson, but I'm actually looking at Rudiger or Azpilicueta.
Okay.
Just because I think the Chelsea defence is so solid, and their fixtures are pretty good for the next 4 after the United game. Obviously, the United game's all right as well. But yeah, I'm thinking as differential Rudiger or Azpilicueta, honestly.
I think Rudiger's would be probably my preferred pick of the two because he's a bit of a bonus point monster this season.
Yeah.
It's unusual because in the seasons under Conte, Azpilicueta was always like the bonus king, wasn't he? And it's flipped back to Rudy.
Yeah.
How much do you know? How much he is? Is he 5 something, or is he 6?
I think he was 6'1", maybe he's probably about 6 now, isn't he? I guess.
Yeah.
To be honest, I can probably have a look.
Okay.
1 second here.
Okay. Well, I think it's a wise decision to get.
He's 5'9".
He's 5'9". Okay.
Yeah,
5 something. Well, there you go. I think he's.
But he's actually got a yellow flag.
Oh dear. What's
Which
he been up to? No. Okay.
Groin injury apparently. So.
Oh no.
But he'll probably play.
Same as Salah. Oh yeah, they're all played. Groin injuries. Who cares? We'll start them up. So that would be the main thing so no team. Where would the team structure change come from then? Would it be for
if I do it? If I go to the 4-3-3, it'll be the team structure would change on the wild card. I think.
Yeah.
I'd get Jimenez in, and then I'd get, if Salah's still there, I'd just have 3 decently priced midfielders, and then 2 cheaper ones on the bench, say Kennedy or whoever, Højbjerg, or maybe just keep billing and then just have Wan-Bissaka still there.
Okay.
And reassess Ederson possibly, Patricio, Mendy in for Trippier maybe, and then possibly Rudiger or whatever. That seems nice to me.
Okay, I like it.
Maybe Ramsey is one of the 3 midfielders. We'll see.
So you've got options there.
There is options, I mean, because I have that wild card still, I can jump on people who are starting to get the form. Even Siggy is a good option. I'm thinking of keeping the wild card until game week 12, which is the next break.
What, and then playing it over the break?
Yeah.
Okay.
If I can last then is another question. But we'll see.
I think the team's pretty well set up until then, to be honest. If you look at what fixtures or what teams have got good fixtures, it's probably only Fraser and Trippier, I'd say, whose fixtures turn a little bit in that time after Fraser's 2 good fixtures, and otherwise I think you've got the fixtures and the form there.
Fraser's only a worry just because of his possible minutes and his possible injury, and I don't think his fixtures are bad at all, really.
No, true. Well, in terms of my team, what I'm thinking is, I really want Mendy back in place of likely Bennett. And I want to start. And I'm also thinking if I get rid of Bennett, I want to have Patricio in because Crystal Palace have, as we mentioned last week on the show, Crystal Palace have got a really rotten run of fixtures coming up. We haven't mentioned them at all tonight because they are just so bad. So after they play Everton away, they've got Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham, Man United, and we said they've been relying a bit on their defensive aspect so far this season. So if you've got any Palace attackers, namely Zaha, it's probably time to move him on. But yeah, I'm not expecting many clean sheets from Hennessy, and while he's usually got great save point potential, I think Patricio's shown that he's got saves and clean sheets in him this season. So my plan is to get some City defensive coverage in, which will likely be in the form of Mendy for Bennett. Hennessy will change to Patricio, and then I'll likely downgrade Wilson or Mitrovic to a 4-point-somethinger, and one of them will then go to Arnautovic to pick up on West Ham's good fixtures. But because the thinking behind it is Wilson's and Mitrovic's, I think with mid-price strikers, a lot of it comes down to their fixtures, because I'd say it's rarer for them to score in the bigger games, if that makes sense, or in
Yeah.
they like a good home fixture.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm watching their fixtures quite closely, and I think it'll be around game week 11 or 12 that I have made those moves. So the team will change quite a bit. I still have 2 Wolves defenders, but I'll have a City defender. And the main thinking behind the change is, one, I like Mendy so much from an attacking and defensive point of view, but also I think because he is cheap, he's cheaper than both Wilson and Mitrovic. He's got the capability of matching their total points over a season.
How are you going to get the money in the bank for Bennett to Mendy?
So Bennett and
obviously Mitrovic down to 4 point. Yeah, it's like 2 million, I guess. Yeah, I guess. Okay, right, that makes sense.
So that's about it. And yeah, I think that's likely to happen. I think Salah's in the back of my mind to change, but those fixtures of Cardiff, Huddersfield, and Fulham are just too appealing at the moment to get rid of him. So yeah, that's the plan. Potential switch to 4-4-2, and have one mid-price striker next to Aguero. But you know what it's like with fantasy. We make all these plans and we look at our teams, and it takes one thing for us to go, oh my, I need to change everything.
I mean, you're kind of doing the reverse of what I have now. Like I want to get rid of Kamara and have a playing third, but you're going into getting in someone like Kamara.
Yeah.
To have a 4-4-2. Yeah, interesting.
But I think one of the reasons is because you've got Edison. I quite like the City defensive coverage, so I don't know. I want some City defense basically. And I think Mendy's got the capability of getting, obviously, as we've seen already, attacking returns and defensive ones, so he'd be my preferred pick, but he's just about $1 million too much of my budget so far.
Yeah, I mean, if Mendy does anything, then I'll be like, oh, Trippier to Mendy, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
So...
No, I think that's good that you've got that there as an easy move for you. Whereas for me, it's going to take like at least 2 moves to get him in. But I'm not going to take a hit. I'm quite conscious I'm not going to take a hit this season unless it's really crucial.
So have you still not taken one?
Still not taking one. I'm going to play it safe, guys. Unless Salah gets red flagged. Oh no! And then we're going to have to rethink that idea. But yeah.
Nah, you got Maddison on the bench.
I got Maddison on the bench.
And Wan-Bissaka.
So should we just wrap up by picking out some clean sheets for this weekend?
Yeah, I had Bournemouth down for a clean sheet.
Bournemouth, yeah, like it.
And if not Bournemouth, I don't know, you say yours first.
Oh, I was going to say Wolves, just because I've been bigging up them so much tonight. Again, I've said Wolves the last 2 game weeks and they haven't let me down, so Wolves I was going to go for.
And then it's the kind of obvious possible Liverpool, City. That's a bit about it, I think.
I think Pool goes a bit without saying this weekend. I mean, Huddersfield haven't scored at home so far this season, and Liverpool's defence has been so good. I think that's a... Don't want to jinx it, but touch wood, that's a...
Assuming VVD plays.
Assuming VVD plays.
If not, then Lovren and Gomez probably a bit scary.
I think they'd still keep Huddersfield out.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, you're right.
Cool. Right, I think that about wraps it up for tonight, doesn't it? So thanks for everyone for joining us. And we'll be back early next week. So we're Monday today. We're going to be back next Monday with our Game Week 9 preview show. Game Week 9 review show. And just, can't wait to start talking about points again. Feels like it's been too long, okay? So if you have any pressing FPL questions, that's you, listener, please comment below or tweet us. Link to the Twitter page is in our video description. Kieran and I will try our very bestest, just to answer you all and give you some, hopefully, helpful advice. So, and if you haven't already, we'd really appreciate liking the video and a subscription. And while you're... just to make sure you don't miss an episode. So I think until next week, that's goodbye from me.
See you and good luck.
Bye, guys.